Hello everybody and welcome to Real Madrid Hub. I am your host Eric Rivera, and this is of course your spot for all things Real Madrid news. And like a bat signal, my good friend Jota Real Madrid, he put out a video a little bit earlier on the channel speaking about whether Mbappe was further or is closer to Real Madrid after yesterday's performance. Let's get into it a little bit more. This is going to be a little bit of longer form video. I really think, obviously, Mbappe is the man of the hour. His name is on everybody's lips. Everybody's talking about Kylian Mbappé and his performance yesterday. And the funny thing is, I think prior to yesterday's game, a lot of questions had been asked of Kylian Mbappé, and whether his form hadn't been as great as of late. Not that it's bad, but it wasn't what we were used to as the idea of him being this wonder kid, and him being amazing. We already knew that he was a very talented young kid and that he was a superstar in the making, or a superstar already, really. Having won the World Cup already, he's multiple Ligue 1 titles, but the question has always been whether he's going to be able to perform outside of Ligue 1, which, a lot of people say is quote unquote a farmer's league, which is a term I hate because really, when you're at a professional level, I really don't think any team is easy or any league is that simple per se. And, all the leagues have proved that somewhat this year, because of the fact none of them are really, where the leader is really ahead, So with that said, a lot of questions have been asked because, in the Champions League last season, the one who has slowly retaken the mantle of being the star of PSG has been Neymar. Neymar has been kind of taken that role as the star. There was the jokes from culés were always that, he left Barcelona to get away from being under the shadow of Lionel Messi, only to go to PSG and be in the shadow of Kylian Mbappé. But really, in the last Champions League, we've seen that during the last Champions League where they, faced Bayern in the final, the team really looked like it was Neymar and everybody else. So, and Mbappe's, was kind of under fire that he wasn't as performing as well. And for Madridistas recently, even so myself, people were looking a lot more at Erling Braut Haaland from Dortmund as being the potential player we would want to get, as opposed to Mbappe. But there's a variety of reasons for that too, because we all know that Mbappe is going to be astronomically expensive. What he is being paid at PSG is something that not many clubs in the world, if any, can match, whereas Haaland was going to be a lot cheaper. So you are essentially going to be getting a player that is up and coming, that is a proven goal scorer, that is very strong. You are going to be able to get him for a cheaper price than somebody like Mbappe. So prior to yesterday, I think a lot of people were saying, Haaland is the better deal. Not that he's the better player, but I think he was the better deal, especially if we're talking about Madrid and their quest to get somebody big for this next summer transfer window. Supposedly all of these financial, for Madridistas, all of these financial, savings plans, austerity measures, whatever it is that Florentino has been doing by not buying any players during the last transfer windows, has been in a way to set up for something like this. Now, we all know that Madrid is in dire need of really revamping certain aspects of the team, in the sense of the attack mostly, and then having backup for some of our older players that are in the midfield that are performing greatly, by the way. And then also now we're hearing about an additional right back because Lucas Vázquez is on the way out. Okay, so all that stuff aside, let me get into the whole idea about Mbappé. Is he closer or is he further from Real Madrid? So, as I said, he is the man of the hour. Everybody's been talking about him. On El Chiringuito last night, the entire discussion was either about him or the collapse of Barcelona, to say. And I don't really want to harp on the whole Barcelona thing because, I think many people, even Barcelona fans themselves, or the ones that were not consumed by, the fact that, they turned around a result against Granada and Alaves, and that was somehow indicative of that they were going to do great in the Champions League. This has been coming. I mean, this has been coming since the 8-2 versus Bayern, and it's now, this is a 4-1 versus PSG, and a PSG that had no Neymar and no Di Maria, and we're in the Camp Nou. The scary thing that we're going to see is what's going to happen when these two teams meet again in Paris, and potentially if Neymar and Di Maria are also on the pitch with an Mbappé who I'm sure after this game no longer has any worries about running through the Barcelona defense. So that could either be a slaughter fest, or we're going to see the first time we've ever seen Barcelona really maybe sit back and play a lot more defensively, more than their norm we've ever seen Barcelona do in the past 10 or so years. But so with Real Madrid and Mbappé, do I feel he's further? I think this is a difficult question because if after the performance of yesterday, Mbappé said as much, and here's the other thing, so he said that it wasn't the right time to decide his future. Essentially, he's not going to decide his future after one game. That he has said that he has a love for PSG, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Now, is that, we have to take that with a grain of salt because no player is going to ever go in front of the cameras. As much, let's say he really wants to go to Madrid, and all the rumors that we hear are true, is that he's in love with Madrid. He wants to go to Madrid. He wants to join Zidane. He wants to play, in the club where he looked up to Cristiano Ronaldo. He wants to be the star of the project, whatever, all that type of stuff. Let's say that's all true, right? He would still never say that on camera, to the media, while he is still a part of PSG. Because if the one thing that we've seen from Kylian Mbappé is that he's a professional, he's not reckless in what he says, and he's playing the entire situation very much so like, we would expect from any big name player. He's going to say he's happy at PSG, he's going to say he's going to be with them, and here's the thing, they have a legitimate run. They have a legitimate chance if they continue playing this way. And if he's on this and playing this form, they have a legitimate chance of being one of the contenders for this year's Champions League title. So it's my impression that he's going to do his very best to win the Champions League with PSG. Now, if he does all of that, and considering how he's performing right now and continues to perform that way, it is sort of difficult to imagine that Real Madrid is going to be able to pull him away from PSG. Obviously, we might have to say it might end up being another year before, because he might not renew, but he's still got another year on his contract. So we would have to wait until he essentially becomes a free agent to get him. And either way, I'm pretty sure his wage demands are going to be astronomical. But the other thing is, there was so much talk about the idea of Mbappé coming to Real Madrid depending on Messi going to PSG. Now, my question to all of you is, as good as Messi is, and I'm not going to get into the whole Cristiano Ronaldo-Messi debate right now, but as good as Messi is, do you feel, honestly, that PSG would change this Mbappé that we saw from last night for Lionel Messi? I don't think anybody would. I don't think anybody would. I mean, yes, it's enticing to think about possibly having Messi linking up with Neymar. And the fact of the matter is that, yes, the idea was that if Messi goes to PSG, then it will be too difficult for PSG to maintain having Messi, having Kylian Mbappé, and having Neymar on the payroll, in addition to the other stars that they have on their team. So that would sort of give, Kylian Mbappé more of a reason to leave Madrid, more of a reason to leave PSG and go to Madrid. But now it's all up in the air. Would PSG even want to make that deal now, is what we're wondering. If anything, I think part of me feels that Manchester City is looking at that game being very happy, because of the fact that means Messi might be closer to going to their team, reuniting with Pep Guardiola, so there could be that. But with that said, I do agree with my friend Jota in that he could be making a step closer because of this. If Kylian Mbappé wanted to continue with PSG, if he really had faith in the project, not faith in the project, I'm pretty sure he does, but if he really wanted to continue, why wouldn't he have done so already? Why drag out this situation the way he's dragged it out? Why continue to not want to renew with PSG? And it might not even be, about money. Because as we know, in the footballing world currently, a lot of pundits go out and say that Kylian Mbappé could probably not be considered, or won't be considered, the next big thing until he goes, unfortunately, for all of you for Ligue 1 fans, but until he goes to a bigger league, whether that league be the Premier League or Serie A, or I don't know if Serie A, but to La Liga, essentially the two leagues that have been synonymous with success for the past few years, right? Obviously, I don't think he's going to go to the Bundesliga. I don't think he's going to go, and I don't think he would go to Serie A right now. So the idea would be really either he's going to go to La Liga or he's going to go to Premier League. But everything points in the direction that he has a legitimate love for Real Madrid. The posters of having CR7, of having Cristiano Ronaldo since he was a young kid. When Cristiano Ronaldo was at Madrid, of him being a fan of Zidane, of him essentially feeling that, he would be, and this is where Florentino comes in. And this is where I would say Florentino should move mountains in order to get this guy right now, or secure some sort of agreement with him right now, because this is a guy that likes Madrid, that loves Madrid, and if you can promise him that he is going to be the star of the project, of the new revolution and new project at Real Madrid, that he will essentially be the front man for Madrid, like a front man for a world record touring rock and roll band. This man is going to be the Freddie Mercury of, the Freddie Mercury that Freddie Mercury was of Queen. He is the Freddie Mercury of Real Madrid. That he is essentially that big of a star. If you convince him that that's what is going to happen, that everything is going to be built around him, then you are promising him something that he would be interested in with a club that he's always been in love with. And I don't care, in a lot of ways, I don't care what it takes. If Lucas Vázquez wants to leave, sell Lucas Vázquez. Isco, Marcelo, these guys that we already know are on the way out. And not because they're not great players in the sense of Marcelo, who was a legendary player, but his time has gone. And Isco's time with our team is gone. I would sell those players, if it takes selling Vinicius at this point and other players that we're still waiting to see the best of from, then it's totally time to get it. It's totally time to do it. It is time to make that sacrifice and build around. Sure, we're going to have to sell a lot of bits and pieces. I know that there's been rumors about selling Varane. There's been rumors even about selling Casemiro, which Jota had put up. I wouldn't sell Casemiro, And, Varane depends, if we keep Sergio Ramos or not. And then the whole idea with Alaba, if he does, if he's not going to change his wage structure, I wouldn't change it at to the detriment of bringing Kylian Mbappé. I think at this point it's whatever we can possibly do. The funny thing that I saw from El Chiringuito was Juanma Rodriguez yesterday saying basically, that the Santiago Bernabéu is looking beautiful. The new Santiago Bernabéu, the new Real Madrid stadium is looking beautiful. But if Florentino can go out there to the construction site and say, listen, guys, we were planning on having 4 towers at the Real Madrid stadium. If I can stop you guys right now and we don't, we don't build the 4th tower because I'm going to need that money to buy Kylian Mbappé, then do it. So for me, I do think he is closer, not so much because of the whole footballing aspect of things. I think he's closer because this is a team that he has always been attracted to. But now the onus is on Florentino. The responsibility is on Real Madrid and the board and the rest of the team to really get together and figure out how we are going to bring this guy here financially. What do we need to do? Who do we need to sell? What needs to happen? But we need to bring Kylian Mbappé to this team because it's essentially the future. He is the future, ladies and gentlemen. It was a passing of the torch last night. It was a passing of the torch, maybe somewhat violently, I would say, to make Messi look that way. But Messi has not been happy at Barcelona. Let's be real. I'm sure Barcelona, culés are going to be really angry about saying that. But I don't think he's happy there, and he wants to move to a different project and continue playing at a high level. And Barcelona right now doesn't have those pieces. It doesn't have the pieces of the puzzle for him to do that. But we have to be real. Even as Madridistas, the era of Cristiano Ronaldo is over. He's not even on our team anymore. The era of Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi is essentially coming to an end of them being the top 2 guys in the world. And this guy yesterday, Kylian Mbappé, hit his fist on the table and said, I am here. I just scored a hat trick in the Camp Nou with Messi on the field. And yes, you can say this is one of the worst Barcelonas we've seen in years. But it still is what is the essential evolution of the game, that the team is no longer the team that once was this world beater in Barcelona. And we're seeing the same thing with Real Madrid, this team that was once a dominant force. These 2 teams are in a restructuring period. And the 2 stars of those teams are on their way out, and they were not only the stars of those 2 teams, but they were the stars of world football. But this guy yesterday came in and said, I am the next star of world football. I am the next star. And I would say, he's definitely up there. We are stepping into the Kylian Mbappé era, and we are stepping into an era, I think we're going to see how Haaland plays today. But that is what is currently happening. And do I feel that he's closer to Madrid? Well, God, I hope so. I really do hope so. But I do feel that there is a genuine desire by Kylian Mbappé to be part of Real Madrid. And from everything we've heard too, other rumors is that Kylian Mbappé has been wondering when Madrid was going to make the move. He's already not renewed with PSG. If he doesn't renew after, after winning the Champions League or winning a game like last night's, if he really wanted to stay at PSG, he would have signed with PSG. I think he's waiting to see what Real Madrid is going to offer him, when Real Madrid is going to approach him. So we have to approach him. That's what has to happen. They have to approach him, and they have to. Florentino has to be on the phone, with PSG and working things out and seeing how they can come to an agreement. Because if Mbappé doesn't want to stay, then he's going to want to go, and he wants to go to Real Madrid. Well, what is the price going to be? What do we have to do to get him? The only thing that is going to cause a problem to all of that is that his this performance as of last night is going to increase his stock. Of course, as he moves on in the Champions League, we'll see how that continues. That might increase his stock even more. And he might come even more expensive. So much so that he won't be an asset that we'll be able to purchase. But hopefully, Florentino and Real Madrid are doing everything they can to figure out how to bring Mbappe. We've heard the stories already on Marca and all these things about how Real Madrid do not want to let go of the chase of Mbappe. Well, they have to show that they're not going to let it go. This is the time to do it. This is the time to do it. I mean, he was on the cover yesterday of Marca. I mean, I just put it up on the screen. Mbappe destroys Barça. That's what it says there. Revienta. It destroys Barça. It blows up Barça, whatever. That's the man right now. That's the man right now. And if he has a kinship with your team, get him, So, I mean, that's what we need to be talking about right now. That's what we need to be doing right now, is getting this man. I mean, look at those numbers. So 3 goals, 31 passes, 84% pass accuracy, 6 shots on goal, 4 key passes, 9 out of 10 successful dribbles, and besides that, 12 out of 14 duels won. The guy was all over. The guy was Superman last night. And he made Barcelona look average. Bayern already did that, but this was one man doing it. Bayern was a dismantling of Barcelona from the team, from the idea of the entire team. I don't want to take away from the rest of the squad, obviously, of PSG, because they all did a phenomenal job. Marquinhos, Verratti had an incredible game. But Mbappe scoring 3 goals on them and making those runs and making those dribbles and just bamboozling the entire defense where it seemed like they were afraid of him. This was a one-man dismantling of Barcelona, as opposed to a team like Bayern, which was just destroyed. They just were just bulldozing them because they are an incredible team when they work together. It wasn't an individual performance, but this was an individual performance that put the world on notice. Mbappe is the guy. Real Madrid, let's get him. That's all I got to say. Thank you for listening, and continue to subscribe to Real Madrid Hub, and also check me out on my podcast, Y Nada Más Podcast. Thank you guys for listening, as always.